Hello, Aries. Welcome to Bohemian Path Tarot. I'm Jen, and I'm going to be doing your mid-December tarot reading. And I'm using the Unfolding Path Tarot today. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shuffle just for you, but I'll fast forward the video through the shuffling part, and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, Aries, here we go. We've got it all shuffled for you. The Tower, the Hanged One, and the Sun. Wow. Okay, first of all, let's note that these are all major arcana. So this is like big cycle stuff, right? Big shifting, big changing. And of course, the Tower is all about a big change. Now, this card in most decks looks a little bit scary, but I really respond to it in a positive way when I get it for myself, because it comes up for me when sort of the brittle or rigid way I've been living, or a kind of philosophy I've held about myself or my place in the world is kind of crumbling, is breaking, is changing, and moving from a really rigid kind of point of view, or a rigid place in my life, into a more authentic place, a more organic place. That usually means something has to go, or something has to radically change, something has to be removed. So the fact that this is kind of in your the major card here, the first card, indicates that this is a time when you are going to be experiencing a need to release something in order to get to a more authentic, organic expression of your life. Right next to it, interestingly, is the Hanged Man, or Hanged One, if we're using gender neutral terms. The Hanged One is, again, it's one of those cards that looks kind of scary. In this deck, the Unfolding Path Tarot, she's kind of a gymnast, right? And it's almost as though she put herself into this position, like she's testing herself, right? There's usually, on any version of this card, there's kind of a halo, or some emphasis around the head, indicating a sort of epiphany, a change of perspective. It's as if in this card you have to totally flip your perspective in order to have that epiphany. You have to see something from another side, maybe from someone else's point of view, or maybe it's just letting go of an old philosophy, or realizing the way you were looking at something was not serving you or not accurate. And this leads to a sort of epiphany. Now, it's interesting because the tarot usually indicates something that happens kind of suddenly, a shift that happens suddenly, where the Hanged One indicates an epiphany that comes after a point of contemplation, or a point of reflection. So it makes sense that something that that shifts or changes suddenly in your world leads you to a point of reflection that inspires that epiphany, that idea, or that shift in perspective that allows you to see a new alternative for you, see a new option for you, to understand yourself in a different way. I once heard somebody talking about a meditation as a practice that allows you to kind of put a space between yourself and your thoughts. You know, to kind of stop your thoughts and look at them and then determine whether or not those thoughts are really your thoughts, or if it's maybe programming or something that you've just been led to believe, or maybe inaccurate kind of philosophy. And when you get that space, and when you determine, if you find yourself determining something that you had believed or something that you thought was a truth, on reflection doesn't hold water or doesn't really reflect who you are, you can let that go. On the other side of that is the Sun, which is a card of delight, joy, ease, a sense of victory, comfort. So, we're going from kind of a dramatic shift or change, and then a point of reflection, a point of contemplation, meditation, where an epiphany is gained, and moving into a place of ease, joy, comfort. If I were to throw out some specific examples of how this might look in your life, for some of you, it might be something like a job change or a layoff that leads you to become aware that that career path or that job wasn't suited for you anyway, and you had always wanted to do, I don't know, music, or always wanted to explore something else that makes you feel more fulfilled. And in making that shift, you find a career path or a job that's actually easier, that's more in line with who you are in your heart of hearts. And it doesn't feel like work, feels maybe even a little more like play. That example might not be true for every Aries, but it's something along those lines. I've seen the Tower also come up sometimes when there's a mechanical issue, or like a home maintenance thing that you kind of knew needed to be taken care of, but you were procrastinating or putting it off for other things, prioritizing other things, and then the plumbing goes, or your tire goes on your car, and in the moment it can seem like a really a bit of bad luck. But sometimes when like if the plumbing goes, then you could discover something else within the walls that needs fixing, or you could use that as a point to redecorate or redesign, so something that is a sudden shift, or that seems like a breaking down, leads to a sort of a breakthrough. So this is a super intense but awesome reading. I hope it gives you some comfort. I hope it gives you some clarity. And let me just reiterate that, as dramatic as this looks, sometimes we do need a shift or a sudden change or a little nudge from the universe to move into that place where we're able to see ourselves in a more authentic way and make choices that, support who we are in our heart of hearts. So I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that gives you insight or clarity. In any case, thank you so much for stopping by, Aries. Take good care.